Hi, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. So happy you're here and decided to hit play. Like always, grateful that you're spending some time with me and hopefully you find some value today in what I'm discussing. It's, I think, very important for us to all see this differently. If you haven't already, I don't know where you are in regards to understanding your emotions, accepting your emotions, working with your emotions. How you see it, I have no idea right now because we've all been taught through society, through our upbringing, what emotions mean and what is good, what is bad, etc. And so today I just want to dissect this topic, and I hope hopefully you can glean some new perspective or a new idea towards what emotions truly are here for. For most of my life, I didn't want to feel my emotions. I thought they were something to be managed. I analyzed them, I tried to outthink them, and I even tried to control their timeline, right? How long they were in existence in my body and in my mind. And everything changed when I realized that emotions are not problems. They are signals. They are energy in motion. And it's your body's fastest and most efficient communication system. Back in 2020, I wrote a post on Instagram when I came across the separation of the E and the motion and emotions, energy in motion. If that's what emotions are, I thought, okay, they need to move through me. And they're not always clear, they're not always comfortable, but they are always meaningful. And the moment I stopped trying to say, how do I get out of this the fastest way? And I started asking, what is this here to show me? I moved from resisting that emotional state to developing a relationship with the emotional state. And another shift that I made is that if you know mindset work, which I've been low key like mastering for years, I was always in my head. And if you heard my last podcast, I talked about how long it's taken me to truly connect my mind to my heart, to my body. You know that you're not your thoughts, right? You can observe your thoughts. It's what you're thinking. You don't have to believe always. And if the sooner you realize that you can observe your thoughts, I think we're the only species really that can do this. If I'm not wrong, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I don't think any other species can think something but look at it from far away, like observe their thought. We can do that. So we know that we're not our thoughts. Just like we're not our thoughts, we are not our feelings. Right? This is the foundation. You're the observer. Your thoughts are mental activity. Your feelings are bodily sensations. And both are trying to do one thing. They're trying to bring you back to homeostasis, back to balance, back to home. Nothing inside of you is ever trying to sabotage you. The body's always trying to heal you, to bring you back. Even the emotions you've been taught to avoid are actually truly trying to serve you. And these shifts are so important to make. Just like no emotions are good or bad. We have been taught that feeling a certain thing is bad and negative. They're not. They're messengers. So once you neutralize all states of emotion as not being good or bad, are some more pleasant? Yes. But they're not good or bad in and of it themselves. So when we begin to reframe emotions, not as good or bad, that they're just messengers, that's an important shift. When you label emotions as negative, bad, weak, you create this urgency to want to escape them. And this is why I always wanted to rush through certain emotions. And the interesting thing too is that when we learn to want to escape these emotions or solve them or fix them or move out of them the fastest way as possible, the negative ones that we say, we also somehow don't know how to even stay in the positive ones either. We also rush those things. This is why we talk about being not grateful or not being able to celebrate ourselves or appreciate a state of happiness or peace or gratitude, because we're always just trying to rush through emotions. And so learning how to stay in awe removes that urgency to escape anything. when we begin to see them as visitors, as communicators, as invitations, we create space to experience them. And the paradox is that the interesting thing is the faster I wanted to get out of an emotion, out of a state, the longer it stayed. And the more you allow it, the faster it can move through you. It can let you know what it's here for, right? Like a visitor, like a communicator, like an invitation. And once you shift that, it changes so much how you observe an emotion coming through you. A few years ago, I was introduced to David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, and this scale was very powerful for me because ultimately it's a scale where it shows like all of our emotional states that we can experience, and how oftentimes we want to jump from one state to the next really fast, and we want to skip from like shame to feeling peace, right? But we have to not bypass where we are and accept. It teaches us to accept, right? We don't always have to be in this high vibe, happy, like that's what we glamorize. We don't glamorize the invitation of shame, the invitation of guilt, the invitation of neutrality. All of these emotions are a cry for something. And it's something that we have to honor where we actually are. When we honor where we are and we stopped resisting the emotion, to wanting to escape it, numb it, forget it, do whatever we can to not experience it. When we stop doing that, we start to listen, and our body communicates to us what it's crying for. And ultimately, the cry is always to return to us, to who we truly are, to the great source of love from our God and from our Creator, whatever you believe. It's a return to love. So with the hierarchy of emotions, it's important for us to look at it not like a ladder that we need to climb, like I was saying, jumping from shame to peace, and we need to climb up, but more like a map that's helping us understand the message. So we look at this hierarchy of emotions, and they're clumped up in lower states, so states of contraction and survival. So we see shame as one of them. Am I worthy of existing? Right? That is a cry for self-acceptance. It's telling you you are okay. Guilt. Why are we thinking that it's a negative thing when we feel guilt? It's actually a powerful thing for us to ask for forgiveness and to bring us to that state. If we don't feel guilt, then we wouldn't want that forgiveness or ask or have a need for that forgiveness of self or of others. Apathy. What's the point? We feel that sometimes. Like think life doesn't have a point. It's a cry for hope. It's a cry for possibility. It wants us to bring us back to that there is hope, that there is possibility. And grief, we've all lost something. It's telling us we've lost something that we loved. And the cry is process and honor that loss. Why rush through it? Grieve it. Fear is another state. It's asking, am I safe? And truly, it's a cry for security and reassurance. Desire. We have so many worthy desires. But when we stay in that state of desire, we are in a state of something outside of me will complete me. And when I get that thing, I am complete. But really, that desire is a cry for realizing that fulfillment comes from within. And we look at anger. Anger is telling us something is not right. It's a signal, a warning sign. Boundaries have been crossed. We want to find truth. We want change. Now, if you guys understand that any of these emotional states, even the lower states to the higher states of emotion, there's nothing wrong with experiencing them and living through them. It's what we do with them that can be the problem, right? So if you're experiencing anger and you're not listening to the cry, you're not receiving the message, what you do with that anger can be the negative thing, can be what then causes us to perceive anger as negative, because anger can help us protect ourselves, right? It can help us honor our boundaries and buckle down on what we said we were going to do. It doesn't mean that we're going to go hit someone or yell or, that's then using emotions and not listening to what it's communicating to you. So again, it's a map. If you understand what this emotion is trying to tell you, the root message, it will lead you to that. Then on the hierarchy, we see some transitional states. It's places of like awakening and movement. We see pride, right? The need to prove your worth. It truly is a cry for self-worth and not external validation. We see courage. I can face this. This is a cry for action despite fear. Neutrality. It is what it is. It's a cry for detachment and perspective, because the moment you're neutral with something, you realize that two truths can exist at once. Then we go on to acceptance. This is happening. It's a cry for alignment and reality. It makes us realize this is it. And then we move on to some higher states, right? Where we're expanding and integrating things in our lives. We see reason, where you're starting to understand or you captivate things. It's a cry for that clarity and for truth. That's desire that we want when we're feeling a desire to understand and reason things. Love is asking us, am I enough? Others are enough. It's an expression and a desire for connection. Joy is telling us life is happening through me, and it's an expression of alignment. Peace is saying I'm home. It's an expression of deep internal stability. Enlightenment, which is the top, pure pinnacle of vibrational bliss, says I am, and it's an expression of pure awareness. Now, the real call, the real work is when you feel something like sadness, fear, or anger, the question no longer is, how do I get rid of this? It becomes, am I answering what this is asking of me? Because if you don't, let's look at grief. It turns into numbness. Anger, it turns into resentment. Fear turns into anxiety. And shame, it turns into self-rejection. But when you do answer it, the emotion completes its cycle. The energy moves. You return to homeostasis naturally. And the truth that most people want to avoid is, yes, nobody wants to feel sadness per se, but sadness isn't asking you to stay forever. It's asking you, will you sit with me long enough to understand what mattered? And when you do, you don't get stuck. You don't spiral. You move through without bypassing it, without suppressing, and without abandoning yourself. You get the message. It's delivered. So here's my invitation. What if, instead of trying to master your emotions like I did for so many years, intellectualize them and put them in boxes and try to move as fast as I can out of that state into so-called better states, what if we learn to listen to them? What if nothing inside of you is wrong right now when you're experiencing shame, anger, any of these states? What is it telling you? Maybe it's just misunderstood. And what if every emotion, even the ones you've been running from, they're just trying to guide you back home this entire time? Everything is about a return to love. And the more I live on this planet, the more I realize that that is the one crowning truth of everything. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I invite you to investigate, look up more on this processing emotions and their messages and what they're trying to tell us. Thank you so much. Till next time.